Okay, so have you ever listened to a podcast and thought, huh, I bet a robot could do this?
Yeah.
Well, get ready for like a serious dose of meta because today's deep dive is all about NotebookLM.
Oh, wow.
It's Google's AI research assistant, and it can like actually help you create a podcast.
Really?
Kind of like what's happening right now, just saying.
Wow, that's fascinating. What is it about NotebookLM that makes it so special for creating podcasts? I mean,
Well, I think what's so cool about NotebookLM is that like it pushes the boundaries of how we create and consume information.
okay.
We're not just talking about like organizing notes here.
Yeah.
NotebookLM is about like synthesizing complex data
Yeah.
and turning it into something you can actually use.
Like a podcast.
Yeah. And one of the coolest things it can do is generate what's called an audio overview.
Okay.
It's basically an AI-powered podcast episode based on your source material.
Oh, wow.
So theoretically, we could like feed it all our research notes, our scripts, maybe even some bloopers, and it could create like a whole new deep dive episode. Wild, right?
That is wild.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So many questions, though.
Yeah.
Like, how does an AI even make a podcast?
Right. Does it have opinions?
Does it, like, have opinions on microphone quality?
Does it know how to pronounce algorithm?
So many questions.
Well, it might not be debating the merits of dynamic versus condenser mics just yet.
Okay.
But NotebookLM's strength really lies in its ability to analyze and synthesize information
Okay.
from multiple sources.
Okay.
You could upload website links, YouTube videos, Google Docs, PDFs,
Yeah.
you name it. It chews through all that data, identifies the key points, and then creates a mini AI model that's specifically tailored to your research.
A mini AI model just for me.
Just for you.
So it's not just spitting out, like, generic summaries.
Yeah.
It's actually understanding the nuances of my research. That's pretty impressive.
Exactly. And this personalized model is what makes the audio overview so powerful.
Okay.
Instead of like a robotic readout.
It generates a podcast-style conversation between two AI hosts.
Oh, wow.
Discussing the key takeaways and even debating different perspectives.
Really?
It's designed to sound like a natural conversation. You know, like two knowledgeable people discussing the material.
Okay, so maybe we don't have to worry about our jobs just yet.
Right.
The AI hosts haven't quite mastered like witty banter.
Or awkward segues.
But I'm curious, can we hear what one of these NotebookLM podcasts actually sounds like?
Yeah.
I mean, is it really as good as like a human-made podcast?
Well, there's one example that's particularly meta.
Okay.
It's a NotebookLM podcast about, wait for it, creating a deep dive podcast. Using NotebookLM.
Wait, seriously, a podcast about making a podcast using AI?
Yes.
It's like staring into an infinite mirror of podcasting.
It really highlights the potential of this tool.
Wow.
And it gets pretty funny, too. Apparently, the AI hosts have a whole debate about notebook guide versus audio overview.
Okay, first of all, that's amazing.
It is.
Second, what are notebook guide and audio overview?
Right.
You can't just drop those terms and move on.
Sorry.
I need the details.
But don't worry, I was just getting to that. Think of Notebook Guide as your digital research hub.
Okay.
It's where you can store all your sources, take notes, ask questions. It's like a super-powered notebook for the digital age.
Right.
Then Audio Overview takes all that information and spins it into a podcast-style conversation.
So Notebook Guide is like the brainy research assistant.
Yeah.
And Audio Overview is like the charismatic podcast host.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, it makes me feel a little less threatened, honestly.
Sure.
But this meta podcast example,
Yeah.
did they actually use Notebook Guide to create the Audio Overview podcast about creating podcasts?
That is exactly what they did.
Whoa.
They uploaded their research about podcasting, including information about NotebookLM itself, into Notebook Guide. Then they used the audio overview feature to generate a podcast discussion about everything they had learned.
Wow.
It's pretty mind-bending when you think about it.
Okay, that is officially blowing my mind. But I have to admit, it's also incredibly cool.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine the possibilities. You could literally turn any research project,
Right.
any topic you're interested in, into a podcast.
Exactly.
It's like having a personal tutor
Yeah.
who's also a really good storyteller.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. Yeah, it really democratizes knowledge in a way we haven't seen before.
Right.
Anyone with an internet connection and a little curiosity can essentially create their own personalized podcast learning experience.
And the fact that you can like pull in all sorts of source material, videos, articles, even your own messy notes
Oh, yeah.
is a game changer.
Absolutely.
I mean, how many times have I had like a brilliant idea for an episode,
Yeah.
scribbled on a napkin only to lose it in the abyss of my backpack?
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
You know?
That's where NotebookLM's ability to build that custom AI model really shines.
Okay.
It's not just about like summarizing information.
Right.
It's about understanding the connections between ideas.
Yeah.
And then presenting them in a way that's engaging and relevant to your specific research.
Okay, but let's say I'm researching a really controversial topic, something where there are a lot of different perspectives.
Okay, yeah.
How does NotebookLM handle that? Does it just pick a side, or can it actually present a balanced view?
That's one of the things that makes this technology so fascinating.
Okay.
NotebookLM doesn't shy away from complex or even contradictory information. It analyzes all those different viewpoints and presents them in a conversational format, almost like a debate between the AI hosts. So instead of just getting one side of the story, you're getting a more nuanced and well-rounded perspective.
So it's like having a built-in debate club for your research.
Exactly.
I mean, that would have saved me so many late-night arguments with my roommates back in college.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
And it can also help you spot connections between ideas that you might not have noticed on your own. Sometimes just hearing different perspectives laid out in a clear conversational way can spark entirely new insights.
Now I have to ask the question that's been haunting me this whole episode.
Okay.
We're talking about AI that can create podcasts, and we're on a podcast talking about AI that can create podcasts.
Right.
It's a bit like a snake eating its own tail, isn't it?
It is. It's the ultimate meta experience, isn't it?
It really is.
And it raises some pretty interesting questions about the nature of creativity and authorship.
Yeah.
I mean, if an AI can create a podcast that's indistinguishable from one made by humans, what does that mean for the future of podcasting?
Right. Are we like the podcasting equivalent of those deep fake videos where you can't tell what's real and what's not?
It's a question we might not have the answer to right now.
Yeah.
But it's certainly something to ponder as we move further into this age of AI-generated content.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like we're living in a science fiction novel.
I know, right?
But let's get back to NotebookLM and its amazing podcasting powers. So you mentioned the audio overview feature creates a conversation between two AI hosts.
Yeah.
But how does it actually make them sound so natural?
The key is in the language models that power NotebookLM.
Okay.
These models are trained on massive amounts of text and code, allowing them to understand the nuances of human language and mimic the way we speak and interact.
So it's not just randomly stringing words together.
No.
It's actually understanding grammar syntax and even things like tone of voice.
That's right. The AI is learning the patterns and rhythms of human conversation.
Wow.
And it uses that knowledge to generate dialogue that flows naturally with pauses, inflections, and even a bit of humor.
Wait, hold on. You're saying these AI hosts can tell jokes? Are they like cracking dad jokes about algorithms and data sets?
Maybe not dad jokes just yet,
Okay.
but they can definitely add a bit of levity to the conversation.
Wow.
And as these models continue to evolve, who knows what they'll be capable of? Maybe they'll be hosting late-night talk shows or doing stand-up comedy routines next.
Okay, now I'm really feeling the existential dread.
Right.
But before we spiral into a robot-induced panic attack, I want to talk about the people behind this technology.
Okay, sure.
Who created NotebookLM and who is it for?
NotebookLM is the brainchild of Google AI, a team of researchers and engineers who are pushing the boundaries of what's possible with artificial intelligence.
So it's like a whole team of really smart people.
Yeah, the best of the best.
Got it.
And it's not just for tech whizzes or AI experts.
Okay, good.
It's designed to be accessible to anyone who wants to learn research or create content more effectively.
Yeah, it's really democratizing access to knowledge and making information more digestible.
Right.
Whether you're a student cramming for exams or a professional prepping for a big presentation or a podcaster like us researching for your next episode.
Oh, yeah.
NotebookLM can be a powerful tool.
I mean, think about it. If we were created by NotebookLM,
just imagine what other kinds of amazing podcasts are out there.
Yeah.
Made entirely by AI. It's kind of freaky.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Also kind of exciting.
It is very exciting, and the possibilities are really endless.
Right.
Imagine a world where anyone can create their own custom podcast tailored to their specific interests and learning style.
Wow.
You could have podcasts summarizing complex scientific research, breaking down the latest news stories, or even teaching you how to cook a gourmet meal.
Okay, so I'm officially sold on the potential of NotebookLM.
Great.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or maybe it's a robot elephant.
Okay.
Since we're diving deep into the world of AI-generated podcasts, I have to ask.
Yeah.
Is there any way to tell if a podcast is made by humans or AI?
That's a tricky question.
Yeah.
As AI models become more sophisticated, it's going to become increasingly difficult to distinguish between human-created content and AI-generated content.
Right.
And that raises some interesting ethical considerations, right? Like, what happens when AI starts creating content that's so good it's indistinguishable from human work?
Exactly.
Do we need some sort of disclaimer at the beginning of every podcast episode?
Right.
Warning: the following content may contain traces of artificial intelligence.
It's definitely something we need to be thinking about as a society.
Yeah.
How do we ensure transparency and authenticity in a world where AI is playing an increasingly prominent role in content creation?
Maybe we should just embrace the robot overlords and let them take over the podcasting world.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're probably better at it than we are anyway.
Well, I'm not sure I'm ready to hand over the mic just yet.
Okay.
But I think it's important to acknowledge the potential of this technology and to have open and honest conversations about the challenges and opportunities that it presents.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, whether it's created by humans or AI,
Right.
the most important thing is that the content is engaging, informative, and thought-provoking.
And that it keeps listeners coming back for more. Well, folks, that brings us to the end of another mind-bending episode of The Deep Dive.
It really has been.
We've explored the world of NotebookLM, its amazing podcasting capabilities.
It is amazing.
And even pondered the philosophical implications of AI-generated content.
Some deep thoughts today.
If you're as intrigued by NotebookLM as we are, we encourage you to check it out for yourself.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to create your own AI-powered podcast.
Or maybe you already have.
Or maybe you already have and you're just waiting for the AI to take over completely.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep questioning everything.
Even your own reality.
Yeah.
This is The Deep Dive signing off.